Okay, let's talk about taxes. I know, just saying the word can make you want to run for the hills. But what if we could take all that stress and turn it into a simple, straightforward plan? Well, that's exactly what we're about to do. We are going to walk through the entire 2026 US tax calendar, date by crucial date, so you know exactly what's coming. Let's get into it. But first, let's be real about why this matters so much. What actually happens if you miss a deadline? Besides a nasty letter from the IRS. What are the real-world consequences? Get a load of this number, 25%. That is the maximum penalty that IRS can hit you with just for failing to file on time. And it's not a one-time fee. It grows. 5% of your unpaid taxes for every single month you're late. It can snowball incredibly fast. So yeah, being on time isn't just a nice to have, it's about protecting your wallet, plain and simple. Okay, so now that we're all properly motivated to not be late, let's talk about when everything happens. We're going to start with what I call the first quarter rush. Think of these first few months as the warm-up lap for the entire financial year. Getting this part right makes everything else so much easier. And here it is, our roadmap for the entire year. This timeline has every key date we're going to cover, but for right now, let's just zero in on that first quarter. You see those first three dates highlighted? January 15th, January 31st, and March 16th. These really set the stage for everything that follows. Our very first stop is January 15th. You're going to want to circle this one because for a huge group of people, the tax year basically starts just 2 weeks into January. So who needs to worry about this one? Well, if you get paid without taxes being automatically taken out. I'm talking to all the self-employed folks, the freelancers, the investors out there. This one's for you. This is the day your final estimated tax payment for the previous year, for 2025, is due. It's your last chance to get square on what you owed for that year before you even file the return. All right, just 2 weeks later, bam, we hit another huge date that really kicks tax season into high gear for millions of people. January 31st. This one is a big deal for literally every employer out there. By this day, employers have to get those W-2s out to their employees and the 1099s out to their contractors. For most of us, this is the real starting gun for tax season. Once that W-2 or 1099 hits your mailbox or your inbox, you finally have the info you need to get to work on your return. Now let's jump ahead to March 16th. And let me tell you, this is a deadline that sneaks up on a lot of people. It's the first big date for filing an actual tax return, and it comes a full month before that famous one in April. So who's this for? This deadline is for S corporations and partnerships. Now, why so early? It's because these businesses are what we call pass-through entities. The business itself doesn't pay the income tax. Instead, all the profits and losses, you guessed it, pass through to the owner's personal returns. This early deadline makes sure those owners get all the paperwork they need to then file their own taxes on time. And that brings us perfectly to the main event, the one date that's circled on pretty much every calendar in America. Welcome to the April 15th gauntlet. Yeah, this is the big one. So here's how it all fits together. On the left, you've got your March 16th filers, those pass-through businesses. They file their stuff first. Then their info flows to the owners who, along with everyone else and the C-Corps, file by April 15th. See? It's actually a pretty logical flow, like a two-step domino effect. And here it is, April 15th, tax day. A deadline that really needs no introduction at all. Now, here's the thing about April 15th that is absolutely crucial to understand. It's a double deadline. It's the last day to file your paperwork, yes, but it's also the last day to pay any tax you owe. And please remember this. Filing an extension gives you more time to do the paperwork, but it does not give you more time to pay your bill. The payment is still due on April 15th. Phew. So once April 15th is in the rearview mirror, you can just kick back and forget about taxes for a year, right? And not so fast. For a lot of people, the tax journey continues well into the fall, especially if you pay quarterly or if you filed for one of those extensions. Let's pull up that timeline one more time. As you can see, the road doesn't just end in April. It's still got a few very important stops along the way. Let's do a quick run-through of what the back half of the year looks like. Okay, let's break these down real quick. First up, June 15th. If you're self-employed, that's when your second quarterly estimated payment is due. Then we get to the extension deadlines. September 15th is the finish line for S-Corps and partnerships that filed an extension. A month later, October 15th is the absolute final deadline for individuals and C-Corps who got an extension. And then the year wraps up with one last corporate payment on December 15th. So, we've seen all the dates, we know what's at stake, so how do we actually turn all this knowledge into action? This is where we shift from that feeling of reactive stress, scrambling at the last minute, to having confident control. Let's put together your game plan.
Honestly, it all boils down to these 3 simple steps. First, calendar everything. I mean, everything. Go into your digital calendar right now and put in every single deadline that applies to you, with at least 2 reminders for each. Second, digitize your documents. Stop saving that shoebox of faded receipts. Just snap a picture with your phone and save it to a cloud folder. Do it all year round. And third, decide early on if you're going to do it yourself or hire a pro. Making that decision in, say, February is way, way less stressful than trying to find someone on April 14th.
I love this quote because it really just says it all. You can't go back in time, but you can absolutely start right now to make next year a whole lot easier. Being prepared isn't about being perfect, it's about giving yourself control over the situation. And really, that's the question I want to leave you with. After seeing this whole calendar laid out, just ask yourself, is the way you're approaching this built for last-minute panic, or is it built for peace of mind? Because you absolutely have the power to choose.